Sorry, mommy, I'm lying. But listen to your mum,
I think the disparity that's kind of going on here, yeah, with Brother Issa saying something, yeah, you're what I would call an original African man. There's a difference between, let me explain. There's a difference between us who are descendants from the Caribbean and those who are you were fortunate your ancestors weren't taken. That when you perceive a woman, a black woman, that's your first aspect of beauty. But for us in the Caribbean, we had it lashed into us, beaten to us to hate our own self. To the point where we don't even have to be told anymore, we self-perpetuate it. So yeah, I would say if you are a man that's from Ghana, Nigeria, yeah, your aspect of desire is going to be a black woman. Whether she could be dark, but you still see her for that beauty. But for us, like I say, whether we're Jamaican, Trinidadian, Barbadian, from when we was in the church, we looked up and we saw Mary, the mother of Jesus, peace be upon him. What color was she? She was white. What color hair did she have? This nice golden hair that come down. Good hair. But we was told that nappy hair was bad hair. And then after...
I've been being told that all my life, brother. When I undo my hair's
right.
nappy.
And that is...
But what I'm saying is, right, bro, is that we was cut off from our African ancestry. Now, I can know it a bit. Like, my family from Jamaica, yeah? Jamaicans predominantly are from Ghana. So, predominantly, most Jamaicans are Ashanti in origin. But you go to the average Jamaican, right, that's from backyard, tell him he's an African, right? Even my own dad will look down on other Caribbean islands and say, I'm not them people there, them small island people. Let alone you talk about an African man that come from Africa. Yes, I ain't no African, I'm a Jamaican. And that was brilliant perpetually to the point that it's become like a virus. It's a virus that we transmit generation to generation. And I know me personally, one of my wives, because I got two wives, my wife I'm being honest, right? My first wife, from the very beginning, when we got married, we got married on the basis of Islam, but we also said, but we're also Africans and we're Muslims, and we have to operate within that, because unfortunately, there's like this kind of like dichotomy being set up that you can't be an African and a Muslim. That's rubbish, right? That's rubbish, right? I think my son's name is Salahu-hu-deen Yusuf Chukwuemeka. Chukwuemeka is my wife is half Grenadian, half Nigerian. She's Igbo. My son has an Igbo name. He knows his ancestry. He knows his ancestry in Grenada. He knows his ancestry in Nigeria. And he can go back. But the point is, me and my wife, we said from the beginning, he would be brought up to be proud of being African. To look in the mirror and know that he got good hair. To know that his skin's good. And he can sit there and say, you know what, I'm an African. No, I'm an African, I'm an Igbo. I'm an Igbo man. He knows that. But unfortunately, for those of us who are not conscious of that from the Caribbean, we don't have that. That's what I'm saying. If you're a man that your ancestry is African 1 or 2 generations, you was fortunate because you still know your tribe, you know your ancestry. That was cut off. And Professor Joyce de Leary, she wrote a book on it called Post-Traumatic Slavery Syndrome. And that's what we're suffering from, post-traumatic slavery syndrome. And unfortunately, I'm an old school hip hop man. That's how I come to Islam. But look at the hip hop today. The women they put in there is weave and long hair and dyed hair and this and other. It's self-perpetuating this hatred and it goes on. But like I'm saying, from what you're saying, because you're a lucky man, you got that more closer connection to Africa than we have. So like you're saying, that beauty thing is more apparent for you. For us, we've had it for 500 years that we look bad, we are bad, we're never going to be good. And not only that, but our women were turned against us. You know, who was it that was brought into the slave master's house? Was the slave woman, and the children that she had would then become objects of her oppression. And what did the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, say? He prophesied this. He said the slave girl would give birth to her mistress. How many times did we see that in the 500-year period of slavery? Clear. So yeah, we've had it, this psychological brainwashing for 500 years. It ain't gonna disappear overnight. It's gonna take time, and it's gonna take time for people to recognize we have it. And as the brother Raven has said on many occasions, it's creating another narrative. And that is creating films and film like that. You know, we're authentic films, having our own industry.
Well,
and I know that
started.
It's
The
started,
gears are slowly.
but this is the thing, and at the same time, you know, we have to support each other in those particular ventures, and I don't see that happen a lot. There's too much, even this barrel, this crabs in a barrel. Yeah, it's like look at all the arguments that are going on between Tariq Nasheed and Umar Johnson, and all of this rubbish. They're arguing over what? It's rubbish. Rubbish.
But then you've got to check these people's intentions as well, yeah?
No, I personally, I look at it from this, I think they're lacking in a spiritual background to them. To me, that, and I'm speaking as a Muslim, yeah, I'll clear that, I ain't ashamed of that. I got that spiritual, and if you look at groups like the Black Panthers, that's what they lost out on, that spiritual aspect. But then again, you have groups like the Nation of Islam that's spiritual, but they're not revolutionary. It's about bringing them two elements together, because no way can you lead a revolution if you ain't moral. Sorry, you can't. Never happen.
So you're saying there has to be some sort of code of conduct that brings man together?
Have a code of conduct. How can you have a group like the Black Panther Party and they mistreated black women in there? Like they was like, oh, you know, got some sisters. They treat like a little person harem. No, you can't. It's like you can't have a revolution if you're not revolutioning your whole nation, the men and the women.
So everyone's got to be upright.
Yeah, exactly. Clear cut, man. Clear cut.
Yeah, so that probably answers your question about the whole woman thing.
If you are a leader of an organisation and you want to create just mindless automatons that are going to mouth off certain quotes and things like that, you're not going to progress. Those people that whether you come together collectively, there should be an instigation of all of you reaching for the ability to be leaders.
Who was the leader? Who's the leader of the Jews when they came here 100 years ago with nothing? Who was their leader?
The Grand Rabbi.
Yeah, so they had
the Grand Rabbi, and the Grand Rabbi would then have been affiliated.
Is that a position or was that a leader?
It was a leader.
It's a leader. It's a position.
They would have had a code.
Sorry, if he died, wouldn't some other Grand Rabbi
would
take his
inherit
place?
Yeah, but if you let
So
me
it doesn't
land,
matter.
bro,
Doesn't matter who it was.
let me land, bro. But he would have been answerable to the World Zionist Organization.
Right.
That's what. So
he didn't have autonomy to do what
it goes back. So yeah, he was just a figurehead.
So there's exactly.
He's a figurehead. But what I'm saying is, each of us, starting from the home and going out into society, we start from the home to produce our kids to become leaders. And too many organizations, Afrocentric organizations, black organizations, they get this cult of personality where it's like, oh, look, he's look how good my man can speak, and then they find out that my man's troubling strippers and children and no, but let's be realistic here. Let's be realistic. And then look, let's look at a community. We got mans like R. Kelly going on with all kind of madness, but when people come out and say something about, oh, but he's a fellow black man. He's a fellow black man that's troubling little girls. I can't stand by a man like that. Just because he's a black man, I can't support him.
We're on the side of the right.
Lacking that moral backbone. Sorry, I can't support R. Kelly. What, just because he's had successful albums
Some people say black
and I have to just support him because of that's it? No, I'm sorry, don't work like that. And this is the problem, that we've taken authority as the truth rather than truth as the authority. It's two different
So the
things
subject
here.
of this conversation is
Different, man. Different.
Sorry, mommy, I'm lying. But listen to your mom,